Game on. All right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in to the WTCI podcast. It's Charlie here, and let's go through this week and see if we can go ahead and learn something new about ourselves. For this week, the intention has been around just show up and really just simple and straightforward. You can just show up for the difficult parts of your life. And I kind of mean that in both sides of the term. So when it comes to things like health and fitness, and you're like, man, I need to get to the gym, just show up. It's like the hardest part is just getting started. So if you want to get into running, running isn't the hard part. It's getting your shoes on and getting out the door. That's hard. Like those are the parts that go ahead and make some difference for us. So great opportunities to learn. Or it could be more along the lines of like, just show up, right? You don't have to give it your absolute best in every facet of your life, every single minute of the day. I know we try to say like, oh, I'm going to be great all the time. You don't have to be, which is kind of reassuring that you don't have to be those things, which is great. So sometimes you can just show up, whether it's like some part of your life that you're like, man, I really don't want to be here. Sometimes you just show up. So if there's some have tos that we're kind of stuck with doing, not super enthused by those things, but again, just show up. So for this last week, I finally hit one of the goals that I've really been gunning for. My weight dropped under 200 pounds. So I weighed in at 199, which was awesome. I've been fighting for a long time to go get it. It didn't stay, right? So the idea is that it dipped into that range. And then the next day I was 201. So I'm 201 as of this morning. But, 2, 3 weeks ago, I was averaging 202, 204, kind of in that range. So now it's averaging just slightly a little bit further down. And it can be incredibly difficult to stay motivated when you're like, man, it's taking so long. Hey, then I went ahead and I hit it. And then the next day I'm 201. So, I did all this stuff for nothing. Just continue to show up for yourself. Continue to do it. It will get easier. Like you will get better at it, I should say. It doesn't ever actually get easier. You just get better at it. So give yourself your best go. When it comes to jumping, no issues around like any of my other jumping. So training has been all right. Other training modules have moved around a little bit to be more bodybuilding focused for the next like month or so. I was able to bench press without shoulder pain whatsoever. So I ended up doing like 10 sets of 3 at around 175. No issues. And honestly, I did that Monday night. It's like Tuesday night at this point. Um, no pain, no nothing, just sore, which is kind of pleasant. Usually I never get my upper body is sore. Usually my back is never sore. Usually, like when I train my legs, I'll be sore for days, but like my upper body, I can beat the hell out of it and be fine, which is then this reassurance of like, well, I have to train it harder, don't I? Part of the game. So I've just been really excited about, being able to hit some of those other markers. Excited about other opportunities around the studio. So this Friday will be our first book club. So this is in tandem with in Motion, I believe. There's a therapy group that does all of their stuff remote. They don't have a physical home for their work. So they asked if they can use the studio. I'm like, by all means, that's the point of this. So none of those people are even members. And it's like, here, I'll gladly go ahead and help you out. Just have it. If you're going to bring in food, just share a little bit with me. That'd be fantastic. And I talked to one of the other members this morning. She actually is attending. So sorry if I said that backwards. So I have one person who is a member who's going to be attending, but she hasn't read the book. And I'm not even too familiar with the book, but it has to deal with a lot with like writing off your anxiety. And I think for some scenarios, yeah, it can be really beneficial for myself personally, just kind of showing up for myself and then saying like, I'm not anxious. I'm just really excited and eager. Really changed a lot of the perspective on how I was handling some of those other difficulties within my own life. So I just took my anxiety and started to discard it and realized that it wasn't real. But it doesn't mean for other people that it's not a serious issue for them. And I think there's an opportunity to learn, but I don't want to take anything away from them if they are suffering through something and they feel they can't. So the idea is to go ahead and learn and be compassionate towards other people who have these kind of issues. And so we can just kind of show up and be helpful to nothing, to be helpful to other people. I think it's always important to go ahead and try to put other people ahead of ourselves, especially when it's going to go ahead and help make them so much better as people. So even in those moments, just show up. Show up for somebody when they really need help. So, case in point, right? So, one of the other members I was talking to, he is about to take his boards. Yeah, I said bar beforehand to somebody else, and they're like, law? I was like, no, wait, no, medical. It's like boards. I'm like, oh, perfect. So he's on step 1. And it's a really tough journey. I haven't seen him around the studio because his allegiance right now is to finishing this test. And even if it's kind of at his own, like, oddly enough or like funny enough, that it has to do with like his own health, even though he's going into that healthcare profession. I understand that his motivation and what's driving him to stay on topic is keeping him out of the studio, and it's just for a short term. So he's had a few months where he's like, I have to go ahead and focus in on this. I don't have time for anything else. Perfectly fine. I get it. Just show up. So we had a conversation, and and basically it came down to like he's nervous about it. He is a little bit scared about what's going to happen next. So to kind of give some reassurance, it's like, well, let's go dive into the rest of the community to see if we can find anybody else who can be an asset to you. To see if we can get somebody to just show up and talk to you and kind of ease you a little bit more and help build confidence in yourself. So I'm just really excited for his opportunity. His boards are the end of next month, and then he has like two dance competitions like right afterwards. So imagine like how like ecstatic he's going to be because he's going to be able to get to his test, and then he has like two events that he has to travel for where he gets to go dance, which is like his other favorite thing in the world. So again, if he got to just pick his ability to go and dance, he would go do it, but he's been so busy with it that he hasn't had an opportunity to train with them the same way. So instead he just showed up and became a coach, and even the rest of the team are referring to him as a coach. So again, just showing up can make a huge difference. Just be there for other people, show them that they're supported, help them through some of these other difficult times, and you should be, like, be surprised at how much they're really going to grow. And on that note, good luck.